When things go wrong, and they sometimes do, Rovers don't just throw up our hands and complain. No, we reassess our options, we adapt, and then we overcome. So what does that all mean? Well, over the last year, the cost of building materials has increased about 300%. And even if I were to pay those outrageous prices, which we can't, well, we would be looking at possible material shortages or not being able to get the material at all. So in short, we have been priced out of building the homestead home this year. But we are far from homeless. As you can see, we're in these very cozy, temporary living quarters. And Mrs. Rover, being such a good sport, well, she's agreed to living here as long as it takes until we can build our homestead home. So, what will we be doing this year? Let me break it down for you. So this is what the property looks like right now. It's almost a rectangle. The top of the property, as indicated by the top of the whiteboard here, the road runs along there. And if you see the upper right-hand corner, there's a little blue rectangle. That indicates the homestead shop where I am right now. So this property is an absolute blank canvas. So we're going to put a wildlife corridor that looks something like this. Just fill in this area with trees, all kinds of different kinds and shrubs, so that the birds and animals will have a place to go. So let's go and take a look at what we're doing out there right now. Now the next big project that we want to do this year is we want to get a driveway, a proper driveway put in that'll come down like this from the road to the shop, and we're going to have a parking area put right over here, which will be really the parking area for the house when the house is built. The second part of this is right down here we're going to build a 40-foot by 24-foot pole barn. The purpose of a pole barn is will be for livestock eventually, but in the meantime, we'll be using it for a boat building project that we'll be doing this fall, but also as material becomes available, if there are any sales on material, we will have an area to store the material in. The pole barn itself will be largely made out of locally milled wood that we can still get at a fairly decent discount to milled timber that's coming on the island. So the next big project is one that we already have underway, and that's the garden. So let me just draw that in. So I'm going to draw it pretty large. This is not to scale, and then it's divided in half. So what's happening is this side right here, this is where we'll be gardening this year, and over on this side we'll be having some laying hens. So one of the projects I'll be doing very quickly will be making a portable hen house that we'll be building so that our hens can be moved around this little run area. And then the following year, we'll be switching it over. So we'll be gardening the area that the chickens will be tearing up all this summer, and then we'll be running the chickens on the old garden next year. In addition to that, we are getting some chicks. I think we're scheduled sometime in July to get them, and those chicks will be raising as meat birds, and we'll be doing the butchery right here at Rover's Rest in the probably early to mid-fall. So that's something to look forward to as well. I'm in what will be the chicken run for this coming year, and part of our system is to have manure. So that pile behind me, that was deposited here probably about 8 or 9 months ago. and that's the manure I want the chickens to peck away at. The problem is, if you have a big pile like that, it's too much in one spot, so I'm going to try to distribute it over a greater area. I just need to create little piles of it, and the chickens will take care of spreading the rest. So time to crack on with that. So the next big thing we want to do this summer is we want to plant an orchard. Now the property is absolutely perfect for this because north is up here, south is here. The whole property slopes to the south, and then well below our property is the river. Now our property has some interesting contours that we've been studying over the last several months, and we have this very interesting area right here. And this little contour slopes very steeply to the south. And it's right there that we're planning on putting, well, some grapes, some apples, some plums, some rows of raspberries, and probably some black currants eventually. So we have a really good plot kind of set up there, and really looking forward to that. So the next exercise we want to complete on the property is getting the pasture fences up. Now this one we may or may not be able to do. It's really dependent on if we can get someone to do post holes for us, and then also can we get enough posts. But all going well, we should get a good start on it, if not complete, and it's going to look something like this. So the pasture will go right across here. It'll link up with the southern end and then just follow the boundaries all the way around the property. It should be about 3.5 to 4 acres in total, the pasture area. And that's for a future project that we'll be doing that I'll tell you more about next year. Now the final project is one that's, it's going to be very, very interesting for me, and that is building a small sailboat. And that sailboat is something I've been thinking about for quite some time. And I'll be building that inside the pole barn, all going well, and it'll be a project that I'll be working on largely over winter when we can't really do anything else. And I hope to have that ready to put in the water by next spring, early summer. So this little magnet I'm placing up here, right about there, that indicates where the house will be. Now we won't be doing the house, and you might say, well, why don't you do the house instead of all these other things? Well, if you add up all these other things, they don't even come to a fraction of the cost of building the house. So we'll be putting the house on hold until next year, when we'll be in a better position to tackle it. But we're looking at a pretty full summer regardless. So we have the pole barn, which will probably be the one item that will take up most of my time during the summer, but we will have a lot of fun things to do as well with the garden, with the chickens that we're raising for meat, and of course the hens that we should be getting our eggs from. We're buying what are called ready to lay pullets. So that means that after you buy them, they're of an age that within about 2 or 3 weeks they should start laying eggs. So really looking forward to that as well. And we're also looking forward to an opportunity, by not having the house hanging over us this year, we should have an opportunity to, well, depending on how the pandemic unfolds, but to meet more of our neighbors and get out and be a little more social. So that's the whole summer in a nutshell. That's the plan. And really, if you include the house that I've indicated right there, that's the plan for the next 2 years. So until next time, thanks for watching.